Now, there is no doubt that many successful guys and gals who were in NXT made a name for themselves, and they made an existence. They made a platform. They were champions. They were challengers. And then some of them were unique, and some of them were able to transcend and be successful on the main roster, Raw, SmackDown Live. But some of them, the transitioning wasn't so easy. It wasn't, let's say, it was a very bumpy road for some NXT guys coming over to the main roster. Triple H over on Wrestling Inc. Thank them. And remember, this is the premier source. Rumors, news, and headlines in WWE around the clock. I don't stop. I keep it prolific, consistent, and dedicated. Triple H talked about the possibility of main roster superstars who have never been in NXT or who have been in NXT going back to NXT. Well, you know, if you're looking at guys that were successful in NXT and then it did not transition so well to the main roster, you got to look at guys like The Ascension. Well, imagine what going from WWE to NXT could do for the career of a Mike Kanellis or a Mike Bennett, whichever you want to call him. I mean, it would rejuvenate, it would refresh, it would just bring a whole nother impact to his career. I mean, there's so many guys on that roster that are from NXT that went to WWE and their careers went to sky limits. But there are some where their careers almost went to die and they've never been the same again. Whether it's creative, whether it's the WWE watering them down, there are many guys and girls that could benefit going back to NXT, like Asuka. Asuka could benefit going back to NXT. So the fact that Triple H is thinking about the main roster, some of the guys and gals from SmackDown and Raw, going back to NXT, I mean, Tyler Breeze every now and again goes back to NXT. You know, Dean Ambrose has come from NXT. I mean, many guys have come from NXT and exploded on the main roster, but some guys were not able to make that transition. Some guys were not able to make that transgression. Some guys just were floating in mid-card territory, curtain jerker, or sometimes they're not even featured. Maybe Bobby Roode going back to NXT again could be the question to the answer. I mean, maybe Kevin Owens going back to NXT could be the answer to his problems. The creative, I think NXT, it is a breathing ground, it is a start, it is a era, it is something that has transcended, so many different variables on so many different levels. And, when WWE, it frustrates me, and I'll be honest with you. It frustrates me when you hear about creative or the higher-ups not having any ideas or anything creative for certain wrestlers or certain girls. All right, well, ship them off back to NXT. Whether or not they were in NXT or they're a former NXT competitor, put them back there. Give them something to do. Give them some breathing ground. Give them a performance. Give them something that would be worthy of their time, their commitment, and their dedication. And, that's what it all boils down to, because there's many guys and girls on Raw and SmackDown Live that would benefit leaving the main roster, going back to NXT. And it would be a surprise, and it would be a shock. Right, like I said, right off the bat, Mike Kanellis could benefit going back from the main roster to NXT. Asuka could benefit from it. Kevin Owens could benefit from it. Heck, if he were still with us in WWE, Enzo and Big Cass could benefit it. The Ascension could very well benefit going back to WWE NXT, because look at those guys. They're not in the place to be right now. They're not. So your comments and your opinions on Triple H talking about the possibility of WWE main roster talent that has already been champions, or they're former champions, or they were in NXT, or they were never in NXT. And some of these guys and girls that never got a taste of NXT, who have been on the main roster, but they're not being utilized correctly, like I said, it could do a world of good. This is the Brash and Brazen. I am around the clock. WWE news and rumors in the making. I don't stop. I keep it prolific, consistent, and dedicated. What do you think about the aspect of main roster talent that are utilized or underutilized in WWE switching back to NXT? Subscribe, smash the bell, refresh this page multiple times a day. Go up and down the page many times a day, so you're always in the know on all WWE. More to come. Stay tuned. Brash.